ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dario. I'm the host of today's webinar, which we organized as Next Pharma Summit together with our great partners, Italia. And today's conversation is all around smart dialogues, how conversational AI is evolving in pharma. Today, we have three extraordinary panelists, so I would like to start with ladies first. So we have Carolina from Grunenthal. Hello, Carolina. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you. We have Giacomo Porzio, the CEO and founder of Italia. Hello, Giacomo. Same question for you. Hello, Giacomo. And we have Gianluca Gala from MSD. I think the easiest question also for you. Gianluca, how are you doing? How is it in beautiful Rome?
Thanks, Dario. Thanks for the invitation. Very well, thanks. Looking forward for discussion.
Fantastic. So for everyone who basically registered for this webinar, I suppose you saw a very interesting survey which we run, which is what is the most promising use case of conversational AI in pharma. So before we deep dive into the conversation in today's webinar, let's have a comment on that. And maybe we can start with you, Carolina. How do you see the results from this survey which we received?
Thank you. I think, well, it's something that we have been discussing in the past, maybe a couple of years, regarding the content and the pain point of creating content. So it makes sense that everybody is focused on piloting how we can elevate the content creation. And especially nowadays that we are seeing the user, if we are deciding how much time the user decides to stay in one content, is approximately 8 to 10 seconds. And also the social media or content relevance is the life cycle is approximately 24 or 84 hours. So I think we need to focus and create content and how we can elevate that topic. But also it's really important how we elevate this data unification to create content, but personalized content. I think that is the most important, and we can discuss during this webinar.
Definitely, that's the ultimate challenge, how to do the personalization piece. Thank you so much. Let's move to you, Giacomo. How would you interpret that data?
So when I see this, I see there's a lot of interest. Can you hear me first of all? Because I had some problem with the microphone before. Yeah, so there's a lot of interest in the content creation, and that's, I think, because there's a lot of expectation from conversational AI and large language models on, being able to speed up and make more efficient the processes for content generation. I would say that the expectation from our angle is more on the unbranded content rather than on the promotional and branded content. Not surprisingly, the second topic is on the virtual assistant to sales reps. That's a space, which is also linked to the third one, to the data access tool, because LLM allow not only to offer a new user interface, which is for sales reps to provide a conversational agent with whom you can have it bidirectional, but also to have a link to the underlying data. So it's an easy and fast way to extract insights from there.
Yeah. Please, sorry.
No, the only thing is I'm a little bit more surprised to see the MLR that far down in the list. I don't know if this is because maybe the audience of this panel is more commercial and less medical, but I would like also to hear Carolina and Gianluca's opinion on that. And also the yellow one, the Pharma chatbot, that's pretty interesting for me, because I would expect, and this is also a question for our colleagues here, I would expect the yellow to be somehow constrained by compliance considerations. So what's your opinion? Do you have, Gianluca and Carolina, on this?
Yeah, if you want, I can go, Dario. So generally speaking, the results, as you all said, are clearly related to all the activities that we have with customer, so customer engagement, content, and empowerment of the rep. So back to your point, I think that the MLR part, it's clearly needs to be linked to this process. So once we have a clear picture of what, in terms of conversational AI, you can do in terms of improving the interactions with the customers, in terms of tools, in terms of solutions, in terms of content, clearly, and we will probably have this discussion later on, clearly this needs to be linked with all the compliance, validation of the content. Usually at this stage, you cannot take for granted whatever is coming from these solutions without having, you know, a streamlined process in terms of evaluation of the content from a medical legal perspective, generally speaking, from all the ethical perspective. The second point, slightly smiling on your point on chatbot, because potentially for those who have some years in the pharma space, there are several examples in the chatbots, and for different reasons, I cannot say they failed, but at the end of the day, they are not achieved what was the original objective, or at least the idea of having like a striking or extraordinary breakthrough solutions. It was a bit boring in terms of results, a bit repeating. So potentially the expectation is that the next generation of artificial intelligence solutions can have potentially a different engagement. So what I'm expecting is a sort of two-sided engagement with the artificial intelligence one end and the human brain on this end.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Gianluca. So based on the comments, we also prepared some very interesting 3 questions. So I think we can slowly start with our discussion. The first, which I wonder is, based on your experience, what type of conversational AI applications did you test so far? And maybe we can start this time with you, Giacomo, but maybe you can speak also from your, let's say, expertise side, because you're really working with many different pharma companies, and I think you also have different angles which you can also share with the audience today.
Yeah, so there's a few applications. One on which we are seeing a great piece of interest is on the MLR acceleration process, whereby LLMs and conversational AI agents can really help pharma companies to reduce time to market of the materials, enhancing the number of first-time right materials and reducing the number of iterations in the review process. But the other one, more linked to the results of the survey, is a sales rep virtual assistant. And the angle we are taking, and I agree with what Gianluca has said a lot by a great extent, because there has been a lot of unsuccessful stories in pharma with chatbots in the past. However, I think this time is different, and the difference is that the technology has made a significant leap forward. This on one hand is a big opportunity. It also brings in constraints and considerations that I think we'll touch base on later on during the meeting. But so the technology is there, and the angle we are taking is can we think of the AI agent as not only being a support to help the rep to do their job, but also as an additional data source to enhance and enrich the know-how of the pharma companies about the customers. And what do I mean with this is that we're not only envisioning the sales assistant, the sales rep and MSL assistants as a purely push assistant or pull assistant that you can use to better prepare for a meeting, deep dive on the content to share, ask for synthesized talking points from a document or a material, a lot of the use cases that we can think of. But can we also utilize the AI assistant to prompt questions to the sales rep after the meeting has taken place? And maybe can we have the sales rep respond with a voice, leaving a voice message, and let the artificial intelligence do the job for them? So transforming the speech into text and classifying that information in a way that it can be easily and quickly analyzed by the headquarters. So identifying emerging needs in the customer base.
Definitely. Maybe just to build on that, we also heard a lot last week during our event in Vienna, that direction what you mentioned in particular, Giacomo, that basically also the future of CRM most probably will be powered with a voice-based engine, where basically the rep with just voice will will navigate and do everything what is today doing by just typing, right? So I think that this is definitely the future, like you also said. Let's move forward to you, Gianluca.
So thanks. I think we can probably, just to add another angle on what Giacomo was saying, separate it a bit. What is the professional approach versus the personal one? Because I think, especially at the very beginning now, we have a lot of users that are super excited by the fact that we have solutions that we can test. So on one end, there is a bit of a area of personal use where everybody's going to have like content creation, especially in the area of images, of having solutions that can simplify the way you are working. And we as MSD invest a lot already in the last 2 years to create also spaces where we as a company are safe to test and learn the generative AI solution. So we have proprietary space where we used our solutions for our daily job. So in terms of supporting translations of the document, supporting preparation for long documentation to summarize, or even for easily to do some presentations. And this is one thing that I think it's important to underline, that conversational AI can also help a lot our daily job in terms of simplify our activities. And to this extent, we also try to make a bit of rigor in the way we see opportunities and use cases to implement conversational AI. So just in the last months, we worked a lot from a professional standpoint to use a solution that help our colleagues to simplify the learning and value of our internal processes. We develop a virtual assistant to serve and interact all the many procedures that we have internally that are available, which is, as you can imagine, as a pharma company, are very high in terms of procedurized and implementation. So this tool has mainly the objective to simplify the work of our colleagues, from a sales rep to a marketeers, in terms of understanding and practically use our standard procedures to learn what to do in terms of specific activities. Clearly, and this is also a very important element, back to our initial comment, whatever is the outcome of this process, we need to always double check, always learn the procedure internally to be, strict with the process without having, some solutions that are completely out of the blue. So that's, in a nutshell, are some examples of solutions that we are testing.
Thank you. Carolina?
In the case of Grunenthal, the AI path started in 2021. We have started using Einstein AI with the same time of the optimization. Then we start working in data cloud, or the unification of data, because we are talking about AI, but if we don't have correctly data or unification of data, we're not available to really trigger and personalize or do any action. So it's very important. And that implementation was around 2022. So we have a couple of years with some experience that we're seeing amazing results, and especially in campaigns with Always On. Last year we started working with sentiment analysis and different pilots also. This year we implemented, and we have amazing result that I can share. And also, well, now the idea is to how we are gonna do the scalability of the AI pilot and start working with Agentforce, because also we have the opportunity to be part of Dreamforce, and we saw that Agentforce is going to be the trending topic, and especially if you have this unification. But getting back regarding AI, last year we started identifying almost 60 different AI pilots. But then, if everybody knows, Florence say, okay, which of them can be applicable and also with a scalable way? And we reduced to only 15 of them. Now we are implementing most of them. For example, in sentiment analysis that was led from the Italian team with my colleagues, also Christina, and the customer experience team, we saw amazing results, like accuracy of 95%, 60% faster than manual analysis, with an amazing satisfaction rating. And also we saw almost like a 77% of closing the loop, and getting some feedback from the fields team. So I think that pilot, we saw that it was a really amazing results, with very positive. And the idea now is, okay, we have the result. Now, how is going to be the scalability of that sentiment analysis AI pilot? We have other different pilot, like a content tagging, Copilot, summary, next step action. Now, I think Gianluca mentioned, with different platforms, we are getting more data, and based on that, we are trying to get more personalized interaction in real time. That we're always talking in the correct channel in real time with the preference content. But also, we are seeing with this tool that we're using, Einstein, and also personalization, that we are increasing the engagement also of the user during this process from 11% until 60%. So so far, I think all the results that we are seeing in the pilots, especially with the AI, is reducing the efficiency and improve the productivity, and also with a very good scalability, and also saving effort. I think that is the most important, because we can effort or focus on other things.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Carolina. Next question, let's speak about the human component, which of course is one of the most critical ones, because we all know that many tech initiatives without alignment with on the human side many times fail. And that's why I would like to ask you first, Gianluca, what reactions or feedback have you received from users using conversational AI tools so far?
So I think that as we just said at the very beginning, this is not probably the chatbot that we have 10 years ago, as Giacomo was saying. So the level of interactions, the quality, and above all, the ease of getting a response is significantly high. So it's a clear advance, and we all have you know, the magnitude of the value of using solutions like that in your daily job, in terms, as I said, of simplification of several activities, in terms of data gathering, in terms of data analyzing. So a lot of exercise that we are trying also to do is how to improve the interactions with our key customers, thanks to the data that we are available nowadays, and to the insights that we are able to learn slightly faster than in the past. And we haven't touched all the opportunities that you can have in terms of basic clinical research, because all the value that we have in these solutions is also to speed up several processes that in the past are expensive and are long. So here, on the other way around, you have value in terms of reducing time, shortness of time, efficiency in terms of process, and clearly the value and the quality that you have. However, you definitely need to understand how to use those solutions and results, because especially in a complex world, single or simple prompts that you have when you start to interact with the generative AI cannot be enough. So in a nutshell, there are a lot of value you can tangible see and touch, but on the other way around, we need to be fairly strict in terms of first understand how to use the results, and also don't be confused by the magnitude of the.
Gianluca, we lost you. Gianluca?
I think we lost.
Internet issues. Maybe we can move to you, Carolina, with some further.
Yeah.
I lost for you for a second.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, now you're back.
Yes. So I don't know if you hear me. You heard me?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. No, I was just finishing saying that we definitely need to be very clever in understanding how to use those things, but at the same time be rigorous in the terms we are using those results.
Carolina?
I think the most important is how we involve our internal stakeholders, especially if we are going to start working on data-driven recommendation or with the field force. In our case, now that we are piloting, we're involved then. Okay, this is information, we're showing more insight. First phase, this decision is based on them, of the sales rep knowledge. But what about if we combine with this data-driven recommendation with all the data we have, and they're seeing a really nice result, and especially in the fastest terms. So if we are a company and we work closely with them, that this is a benefit to get this 360 view of the user, that is the most important. And if we are available to improve the interaction and be able to react in real time, I think that is going to be the game changer. At least what we are seeing in Grunenthal is we're seeing amazing results, and that is the most important. And we are really happy, and we are sharing that information with everyone, because you are not. The idea is don't be scared, and not only involve the sales rep, also involve the compliance team and all the stakeholders. If you are involving everyone in the beginning, you can accompany this process. And other thing that I have been seeing in different articles, most of especially big pharma, they are starting to create guidelines to reduce mistake or mitigate errors versus start piloting or trying or testing. In our case, thanks for our leader that they trust us, they mentioned, okay, let's accompany with a human eyes, but let's try this technology, let's advance, and if we are seeing a amazing result, if we are a company with the sales rep, and also if they are seeing a good benefit regarding this insight, that they are not have the whole visibility or the whole picture of their user, I think it's going to be a really nice opportunity. And now we are in an age that we are getting a lot of insight and data, and we need to really focus and based on data start creating some action in the moment. So I think so far I've seen a very nice result. Of course, we need to be focused on the privacy data and other complex things, but so far, if you are a company and you involve in the right time everyone, you can have a really nice results.
Definitely. Thank you, Carolina. Giacomo?
I like the question very much about the human factor, because our mission is to launch and market augmented intelligence solutions where AI is at the disposal of humans, to improve the work that we're doing. And there's a lot of talks about, is AI going to replace works? I don't think that. Or I don't think AI is going to take jobs. It would probably increase productivity and yes, displace some of the most operational tasks. But there is a reskilling need and also a perspective and storytelling point of view. So when you position these solutions properly, I think that the feedback from the users, and actually some actual feedback that we're collecting now, we are actually engaging with some independently with some field reps, either current field reps or past field reps, to get some first-hand impressions and first-hand feedback on their solutions. And there's two things that they are standing out from this initial analysis that we're carrying out. The first one is that having an assistant to prepare before the interaction with the doctor is very useful, especially, and can be extremely useful for newbies, so for new hires or for staff that need some training. So if there's a rep that has been doing for 30 years his or her job, they're pretty confident with what they're doing, and it's also there can be some higher challenge in adopting a solution like this. But those who need training or maybe could also be more open to adopting a new technology, there it's a very useful perspective for them. And the second is that they love the voice assistant functionality. So instead of having to fill in forms, type in information, click and scroll on long lists on these item lists, they can simply talk to the system, and it will do the job for them. It's an additional time saving.
Thank you, Giacomo. Last question, and let's start this time with you, Carolina, which I have to be honest is my favorite one. And this is, what challenges do pharma companies face in adopting conversational AI? Somehow it's, I think, even linked with the previous question, but since we again speak about the human factor, but please, Carolina.
Yeah, I think the most important, well, I mentioned before, is the data privacy. Nowadays, we are getting all this data inside and all the behavior, for example, of the people. We need to have a real data privacy. You need to involve compliance. You need to work aligned in that topic, because if not, of course, the idea is to promote personalized experience, but also be aligned with data privacy. And also, I think very important is to keep working in the very close with the regulatory, with the pharmacovigilance, and show them in the sentiment analysis that the Christina and the team that were leading in this project, also we identify and we work to identify affairs. And we saw some positive false results, but it was minor results. So based on that, we have this human eye from the Italian team, and they saw, okay, this is something that can happen, but let's move, let's keep trying, and maybe we can try to accompany with this human eye. But I think the most important is to maintain the curiosity and the innovation, because if not, we are going to start. We all know that pharma is really old, especially my kids. We are from this new generation that we are looking for improve this interaction, to be more fast in the content creation, in the developing all the information. So it's something also that we need to accompany with the change of mindset. I remember I received some comment a couple of months ago from X person from the marketing team, and they mentioned, maybe, Caro, we are moving too fast. And I was like, maybe not, maybe you need to get on board, because the world is moving fast, the technology is moving fast. So we are getting all this information now that we need to get on board. If not, we are really gonna be like the new blockbuster, and that is not the idea. We want to be the Netflix and develop the Netflix experience. So I think that is the most important. And I mentioned before, some people are getting or focus more in mitigate mistake or error versus try to be curious, to innovate. And that is something that we need to try to change this mindset and accompany. Of course, we're not, we need to have a regulation, and we are all aligned, but it's important to be creative and keep innovative.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Carolina. Giacomo?
I'm bringing my perspective of technology vendor and solution company. And also, I have to make some commercial on why what's the role that we can play. But jokes apart, I think that one of the challenges which is out there that I see is that there's a big buzz on AI at the moment, especially on generative AI and large language models. So the pace of evolution of the technology is so fast that if you are not agile enough to design and implement a system today that can be versatile and that can potentially even change the foundational technology tomorrow, the risk is that you get out of date very, very soon. And I believe it's the role of partners like us to make sure that the solutions that are implemented are flexible and adaptable enough to guarantee not only scalability, but sustainable scalability of the solutions. So it's not an issue if tomorrow Anthropic releases a new model that outperforms OpenAI, or Facebook issues a new feature in Llama that makes a better prediction. So that's our job, and I think it's to make sure that this kind of flexibility and resilience of the systems are a factor in the solutions that we deliver.
That's a very good point. Thank you so much, Giacomo. Gianluca?
Yeah, no, I think that we touched all very important points, and just not to be repetitive, but clearly we have it's necessary to address challenges in compliance space, in privacy space, as Carolina was saying. And generally speaking, there will be more complex issues that will come on the table, but probably, as also Giacomo was starting to say, to me, it's a matter of redesign, or at least update a bit of the change management. Sorry, I think I'm having.
I can hear you, but your video is frozen.
Okay, so I will continue. Face will come. The challenge, as I said, is a matter of change management. So what I think, I'm back. What I think is that the tool is important, but at the same time, we need to contextualize structure within new processes. We need to consider generative AI as an empowerment of the different activities that human being is going to use. So the tools are extremely important, but we need also new skills and education of the people that are going to use. So I guess that whenever you have a bunch of data to analyze, and you have solutions and you have answers, at the same time, you need to have someone who is able to understand what to do with those answers. So a bit of education of the people. As also Carolina was saying, in pharma, we are not super speed up in terms of, accept the new technologies. So also people needs to be experienced enough, educated enough to manage those new solutions. And I'll give you an example. In terms of production of material that you're going to use with the customers, clearly generative AI is an important support of those material. And the pace we are going to produce those material, it will be as speed up as never before. But we cannot ignore that at the same time, we need to have a rigorous process to evaluate the content of those solutions that we cannot be avoided. So probably we need to have people that will be involved in the medical legal process, or from a marketeer perspective, they have different skills from the skills that we need to have today. Probably it's no more in terms of how to create, but in terms of how to evaluate that those solutions are in line with all the process internally and all the law that we have. So there will be some complex challenges that we need to manage, but at the same time, there will be definitely more opportunities in front of us to manage, as soon as we have clear pictures that these needs to come together with a change management approach.
It's funny what I mentioned, Gianluca, because I remember when I started in digital in Chile a couple of, 8 years ago, nobody believed in digital, and I was working in another company, in big pharma. So I was creating all the content. I was developing, because also I work in regulatory, so I knew all the labeling. So I said, okay, if they don't want to create content, I will do it by myself. So we started working and getting all the label in a manual way, create all the different information, and then we create those approved email. But nowadays, with all the tools that we have, all the information, all the data that we are getting, you just can create with an amazing prompt, and you can deliver a content in the right moment. So also I think it's very important to a company to have also, in our case, we have amazing agency that are working with us, that they keep us pushing up in the innovation. Also in the internal team, you need to have internal team that believe in this digital transformation, and you see the difference when some cluster or everybody believes because they're moving faster than other, but at least that make the huge difference. And also, keep reinforcing, keep training. I was reading some article, and based on my case, I think there's a really nice guru, Alia Miller, if someone, I don't know if someone follow her, but she was mentioned that almost right now, the recruiter, they're finding almost 60% of people with AI skills, they are getting more hired or promoted. So maybe the AI is not going to replace. We're going to develop new things, new job, but it's going to be a huge difference. The people that are using AI and also the people that are not. And AI is not only for simplify manual tasks. Also, you need to use the AI for your own productive way to be more creative. I think that is something that we're missing, especially in pharma, because we're really trying to follow some rules, but we need to keep this creativity, this energy that I always try to put on board. And we see some data also that she shared, like a 92% of people are seeing that if we were using AI, we are boosting the creativity, the brainstorming, and also I think it's important to elevate and use for daily day also. I was in Spain and I use as a tourist guide this new functionality of ChatGPT, and they give me all the details, all the information. So I think it's something that you need to use in the daily day, but also to keep promoted to your colleagues and the different local team, cluster, or everyone, I think so. Grandparents, parents, everyone need to be involved.
Good point, sir. Maybe to sum it up, I think that AI won't replace us, but those who use AI, they will replace us, right? I think we can make a consensus about that. And if no one is having anything to add, I would really like to thank you for joining this super interesting webinar. So thank you, Carolina, Giacomo, Gianluca, and definitely looking to the next one.
Yes,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. Bye-bye.